What's sort of been sort of happened in the last? I know you had the gig, the last couple gigs at like the Singing Bird with Eddie Curran, and you had one last week, which I'm still meaning I need to get to one. But how's the sort of just playing solo and playing also, I think for that Eddie Curran gig in Frankston, like that was a pretty big night, and did you want to chat on that, I guess? Mikey asked me a few months ago, and for that one, the Singing Bird one, it was awesome. It was cool to go down to Frankston. I've never really spent much time down there. The show was really good.
Just chuck the mic up.
Eddie Curran were awesome. It's like another level. There was an article in the Age where they were saying like they're the best band in Australia or something, and I thought it was pretty funny because like all these comments were like, never heard of them. But I was like, oh man, they really the next level. Like Brendan went to another space in terms of his like stage presence and stuff. It was awesome. And I was, I don't know, we had a band room with a bucket full of beer, and I took a friend down, and it was really good. It was a good night. And
how was it playing? Like, because is it just you up there when you're doing the TP?
When I'm doing it when I'm doing it on my own at the moment. I just I have had a band, but the members, like everyone's been busy. Not that I've asked them for these last run of shows, but it was just hard to get them together. And the other thing is that like when you're in a band for a solo artist, or for me at least, I feel like I need to be giving them something back, and I just I just don't think they're doing it out of they're doing it out of their own time, playing my songs the way that I want to play them to play it. So I just thought going solo was easier. I'd done it a few times before, and
because then you're not relying on it's just you, like it's
and
nice
I've got the iPad, and the last few times I've sort of stuck it on a lectern or a music stand or whatever, so it's got this kind of I don't know, preacher vibe or whatever. And I just found that it's nerve-wracking, but it's fun as well.
So you find it, because obviously coming from being in bands and then going, like, you've been in a handful of bands. I'm sure people listening, obviously, like Constant Mongrels, and there's a fair few others, but then going on solo stuff must be, Is it a bit weird not being able to, even because, talking to people on here that, not being able to hide behind anything? When you're solo, do you find that? Because obviously, like I remember seeing you guys at the Constant Mongrel set at Jerkfest. And like you guys have got 5-6 people up there, whatever. It's sort of, I don't know, do you find like the contrast in that?
It's like it's going from a team to solo. I found that the pressure, it's a different kind of pressure. I always have pressure on myself with Constant Mongrel, to sort of lead the way to a degree, but then having other people to do things around me, so not everyone's looking at me. When you're solo up there, everyone is looking at you, and every move you make is, I still haven't gotten to the stage where I'm like, I'm not, when playing Constant Mongrel, maybe I can get into a zone, or even like Woollen Kits when I'm playing drums, and I can get into a zone where I'm kind of in this content space where I'm making music. But with being up there on my own, I think about
a lot more.
What I'm going to do next. There's a break in the singing. I don't know. Just like do a dance move or
talk or whatever. It's a whole different. So you've been having to learn. How many years now has it been I mean, I know the album came out in 2020, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Has it been pretty much since then, solo?
Yeah. I kind of, I think I played the first show I played was with the band. It would have been Jerkfest.
Oh, yeah.
21. Yeah. And then played another couple of shows after that. And then that iteration of the band kind of fell apart, and then sort of collected members and lost members along the way, and then so it's been 4 years now, playing like maybe like 3-4 shows a year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not really much, which has been cool. I've written a whole record.
Have you been playing new stuff or?
Yeah, it's all new stuff. Pretty much. I stick in a couple of the older songs, but yeah.
Because I read too, you said you had almost like a whole album of like singer-songwriter stuff too that you had sitting. Like, are you still like, what's the sort of recording now and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, that
for yourself personally.
That one was I did that record in 2019. With David Ackerman in Sydney.
Yeah.
It was really cool to go up there. And then I just you can edit out my long pauses. Basically I was really happy with it at that stage. Yeah, right. And then I tried to sort of pitch it to a few record labels or whatever, and didn't get much back, and just put it on the shelf. And then I went back to listen to it after maybe a year or two, around the time that I was recording the kind of TB Ridge rock and roll stuff. And I was kind of like, nah, I don't want to put this into the world.
Right.
And then someone came out, like David, the person that recorded it, came out and was like, oh, there's this guy that wants to release it. And I had a meeting with this person, and I listened back to the recordings, and I was like, oh, I just don't know if I want to. I don't want this to be the thing that represents me right now.
Right.
And so that recording, it's like a 10-track record.
Is it more personal and stuff?
And that's probably what. Right.
Because I think like the EP you put out, it's talking a bit. Well, anyway, I just think of like the rock and roll tune and the other thing. It seems like you're observing a bit more, or I don't know. It doesn't seem as. I know the Garden track is a bit more personal and stuff. Yeah, well, I'm sure
the Garden track's actually a Van Morrison song.
Yeah, I was reading up that 80s album, whatever it was. 86.
No Guru, No Method, No Teacher, which is like
great album name.
It's incredible. I sort of that record isn't personal. Maybe it is like a little. I mean, everything that you do does have a piece of you in it, but it's more of a character. And like the record that I hope to record soon for TB Ridge is it's like a concept record or whatever.
Right.
So it's a completely inside of the mind of someone. I kind of picked a character that I was so far removed from that I wanted to kind of get inside of. And so going back to it, like the record, the singer-songwriter record, like is very much like personal songs that I made sort of about my life and specifically my relationship with my partner, and so they're very raw, and maybe I made them in sort of an emotion when I was less emotionally mature stage. And I kind of cringe a little bit at it, but then I don't know, maybe it'll see the light of day one day.
Yeah, the cringe things are fun. How do you sort of battle that feeling? Because I feel like most people, when they put out anything, there's an element of that when it's pretty personal, of like, what's the point? Like, not, those thoughts are like, what's the point? Or will anyone listen to this? Or especially if it's personal, it seems, and stuff like that. Is that something you sort of even I'm sure maybe when you put out that TP Ridge album and stuff like that, you sort of,
there's not much, the thing is with that record is that there's not much humour in it, and that's something that it's a thread that's gone through most of my songwriting over the years, and it kind of scares me because I think that maybe to a degree I hide behind some humour and some irony to protect myself, this record really is, that
it doesn't have
it doesn't have that. It's raw. It's it's raw, and that's not something that we should cringe at, but like when it comes from you, when it comes from yourself, it's just like,
so you're just waiting for the right time, maybe, or whenever, even if it maybe never comes out,
maybe I don't know, maybe one day, I think, maybe one day I'll just put it up online. I don't know if I don't know if I'd want a record label to put it out or whatever, because it's like putting out a record is a high stakes thing these days, and I don't want someone. It costs so much money, and they take it takes a lot of time and energy, and it could be something that people really like or whatever, but on the other hand, it could just be sort of, it could be not nothing, but it could just, I just wouldn't want anyone else to have to put their time and energy into it at this stage. Yeah,
right.
But
so
I don't know.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
So you're recording this, you wanted to record this like concept sort of thing album, because I even noticed, like, when you talked about, when I messaged you about that Nice Kiss track, and how you were saying that was also of like a perspective of I don't know if you want to talk about that track too, but I just mean the concept thing of like sort of writing or talking about someone else that you're maybe so far removed from. Linking like what you sort of mentioned with this sort of new album you're talking about in that Nice Kiss.
Like I've always when I write my lyrics, I make music first and then the lyrics come. And for some, often it's sort of with the bands or whatever, it's sort of whatever is coming into my head while we're jamming, and then I'll sort of go home and tighten it up or whatever. And I've always sort of had a thing with people in their middle age, or maybe like sort of older, thinking 60s, late 50s, 60s, early 70s. It's a very it's foreign to me, obviously, because I'm not that age. And people like that, especially women, I think, well, that's what Nice Kiss is about. It's this idea of I don't know if it's like the empty nest, and women of like my mum's generation, like the boomers or whatever, putting their all into like raising kids and having this like that's their purpose or whatever, and often like it's like very clever, creative, unique individuals that, because of the time, it was sort of on this the cusp of the second wave of feminism, or whatever, like but still I think a lot of women sort of went down that traditional line of being mums, and not to say there's anything wrong with that, but I think what has happened a lot is that the kids go and all of a sudden they're home with their husband. The world has changed and they're sort of left alone in a way, because their husband's continued their partner or whatever has continued their life, and they've sort of put everything into caring, this emotional load into caring for their children, and then they're gone.
They don't have to be that mother anymore as much.
No, and then and then it's this moment of like of sort of being lost. I wish I could remember the name of the artist. I don't, but when I was in Japan, I went to the Mori Art Museum, and there was an exhibit focused around love, and there was a Japanese artist that was talking about love for all different age groups, and it was a video piece, and she disappeared at the end. It was sort of like she was this 6-year-old woman, and at the end it got to her, and she was like, there's love for all of these people except for someone like me, and then like she fades out of the screen, and I was like, oh whoa, it's really interesting. And then I've had discussions with some other people, and it seems to me that like I think that is sort of this lost subgroup of people that like have gone through life not necessarily working, they don't have qualifications, all of a sudden they're like free, but then they don't know what to do with their life. And I think that there's like something really powerful in that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No one really, I don't think people talk about it enough, to be honest, like that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think, and it's like, and then we're like, oh, everyone hates Karens. And I'm like, that is that group of people.
Yeah.
It's like, my mum said to me once, she was like, you want to know why I'm angry? Because like, no one's listened to me like all of my life or whatever, you know? It's like, I've served all my life, and then all of a sudden, like, I want something.
Yeah. It's, because they've cared and nurtured for like that, whatever it is, 20, 30 years until your kids flourish, and
it's little wonder that they're like, I want to talk to the manager, because that's what it's like. I want to talk to the fucking manager, because like the manager's my life, because this is not what I wanted, you know, now. And it's interesting. So yeah, getting inside of that kind of mind, for that song, that Nice Kiss song, and then like for the next thing, it's a male, but it's like a middle-aged male that's a director of a dance studio, which is another thing, like a whole world that I don't have anything to do with, have never really known, but they get cancelled, and then, but this person is sort of a morally corrupt individual that is trying to navigate life after love and life after being cancelled.
Yeah. Man, that's amazing. Just hearing you talk, because I'd read a bit about that. Yeah, that Nice Kiss track, and I think you said you were talking to a friend who was in their 40s or 50s too, like a female. And it spurred from that too. It also, I think, just thinking about it now, like it also like puts you, it like opens your mind up, like putting yourself in different shoes and perspectives, because it's so easy, I think, to just like get caught up in your own like world and dramas and being a white, you know, 20, 30, 40-year-old compared to like, you know, putting your shoes into, you know what I mean? Like these different, like for yourself, and then like actually really putting yourself there to like have a song come out of it and like bring different perspective. I mean, I guess that's what maybe traveling does, or reading different things or whatever, you know? Like, I don't know.
I think I wrote that song during coronavirus, during lockdown, and I think that there was something in the claustrophobia of being in an apartment on my own. I mean, don't get me wrong, actually I'm one of those people that really liked lockdown.
I was the same.
I thrived. But I was living in a block of apartments that sort of we're 2 rows, so you could look across to the other row, and I would sort of just see myself. I'd look at the other people that lived across the way, and I'd hardly ever see them because they had their blinds down all the time. Yeah. But there was something in that, and it's But you're right. Like getting into something else, someone else's mind is like I can't do it all the time. Yeah. And it is my narrow perspective as well. I can't assume. I mean, everyone's different.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So,
you can only do the best you can when
the
concept songs are putting yourself in.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's
Nice. That's I remember. It sort of reminds me of. I went to New York like last year, and at the museum, I think it was the MoMA, and they had like a Yoko Ono sort of expo bit, and there was a room of like notepads and pens, and it was pretty much just like writing a letter to your mum, and then you stick it up on the wall, and there was just like thousands of like notes of people just writing to their mum. Yeah. And that was quite just being able to like walk around and like read these like obviously not knowing who the people are, but reading these like the sort of love letters to their mum, and like what that it makes you sort of, because you take it, I mean, anything you can sort of take for granted, until it's sort of gone and shit like that. And I've been thinking a lot about that since like I had kids, and I was gonna ask you about it's and shift and everything. And the shift in my relationship with my partner and gender roles and things like that, it's just something that like it's something, not to go into it too much because it's my parents, but it's something in my life that I've sort of struggled with, because I think that I have been kind of programmed to assume traditional gender roles to a degree, and it's always been something that I'm trying to work on, and that I have discussions and or arguments with my partner about, it's the role of like a mother and a father, or a father and a father, or a mother and a mother, really is it's something. Having kids has really made me think about it a lot, and it's a constantly evolving and changing thing being a parent, because every day, especially with little kids, every day is going to be different, and they're going to change. They change so quickly, and there's new things happening all the time, and different things to navigate, and I don't know. Especially now with how quick shit happens externally, just the world of how quickly stuff's progressing and stuff. And it's like finding out which is the best direction to go in is something else that's really that's tough. Do you have 2 kids? Two. I've got a little. He's 16 months and a nearly 4-year-old. He'll be 4 in November. Like they're both they're a year and a half apart. Almost exactly. And how's having sort of kids shifted for you, like, I don't know, creatively, or like songwriting wise, or maneuvering through bands and your personal stuff and solo work and just touring and like all that whole, because I'm sure like pre-kids, like touring and like playing in bands and stuff it's probably a lot more like easier, like you can do what you want, like, whereas now I'm sure you have to like probably plan it out like months in advance and like make sure that your partner's like even just shows, rehearsals, Woollen kits is sort of getting back together, and I've had to like cancel 2 rehearsals recently because the boys were sick, and then my partner booked a shift on one of the nights that I assumed that was free, and it's just things like that. It's just it's a different perspective on
how I go about making music.
Yeah.
And also working as well. You know, it's like this balance, because you know there's bills to pay, and there's like food needs to be on the table, you know, 3 times a day for them. And so it's putting myself into like duty and responsibility over anything else does change my perspective, and it makes the music, for me, I think that it gives some sense of urgency, which is like, yeah.
Whereas before, it's probably a bit more like you could play with it or wait a bit, or it seems,
but for me, like urgency in music is like probably like is vital, and all music that I like, pretty much most music that I enjoy has a sense of urgency to it, a sense of like you can feel like that you can feel that the people that are making it they need to do it, and it's not, it's sort of more of a calling than it is a necessity, or they're doing it to like as a job or whatever. And so I think that having kids is actually kind of helping with that. It's like I'm doing this, like I've got a moment to sit and play guitar. I'm going to make the most of it, or I'm going to use these emotions that I have, like, you know, after the 4-year-old is just like pushed the 1.5-year-old over, you know, and he's screaming, and he won't say sorry or whatever it is. Using that as sort of using that as inspiration, I suppose. And as like the urgency, like I'm going back to it, but like it's just the idea of having something, like the drive, the want to play music is overriding everything, and that's what is coming out in the art. And if that makes sense.
Because it's part of you. It's not like it's going to go anywhere.
No.
Even if you have more responsibilities and obviously kids, like it's still going to be part of your life. Maybe not to the extent, but I get what you mean. Like you're using that time to like, you have like an hour or two, like you're really going to... Is that sort of what it is? Like like really put in. And but then that being said, like I don't look for songs or whatever. I just sit and play guitar. And is that how it comes?
Yeah.
Has it always been like that?
Yeah. I just sort of have just always doodled around on the guitar, and an acoustic guitar that I have in my lounge room. Like since I've had, it was my mum's guitar actually. She got it the year that I was born, and then she gave it to me about 20 years ago. And it's been the guitar that I've pretty much written most of my music on. Just picking that up and playing, and seeing what happens.
So it's always the music first, and then come. Has like songwriting changed for you since you've had kids? Like shift of like how important. Like your life's almost like secondary now. Like it doesn't feel like you got kids. I don't know how to have kids, but I could imagine it. Yeah,
it does. It's slowed everything down as well. Maybe there will be a simplicity to the music as well. Like my 4-year-old really has, like, it's our fault. Like he's loved the Wiggles since he was tiny. And you know, that they play a lot of the kids' standards or whatever, and all these songs sort of have I've learned how to play them and sing them with him. And they're so simple, and there's a part of me that sort of realised like, oh wow, like a lot of these songs are like old, you know, traditional probably English, Irish, Scottish folk tunes or whatever.
Stuff,
and they've sort of stood the test of time.
Yeah,
they keep on being sung and performed by different people over the years, and there's something in that. So yeah, there's that in sort of a theory sense, and then emotionally, I think that things have definitely changed. I mean, I've been focusing a lot on that character, so there's a part of me that maybe is like, it's like escapism to a degree, because I started writing all these songs around when he was born. So there's a part of me that feels like it was actually, there's an avenue into like something else that it was an escape to be in something else that's not my life. I'm completely separated from it.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah,
because I'm sure being a parent, having kids at those ages can be quite overwhelming and a lot. Like, it'd be nice to have that escape, like to go to something else, even for a little bit.
They're both like really bad sleepers.
Yeah.
We're going through it at the moment. With the 1.5-year-old, he's like, he was I was bouncing him on the ball for an hour last night, and then sleeping him on my chest next to the 4-year-old, while my partner gets like as much sleep as she can get, and then we're like bouncing between beds, and it's
Was it what you expected? I don't know, because I think there's no like one way of going about it. I'm sure. Like, every day, like you said, it's different. So
I think with the first one, it was like we were shell shocked, and I think that a lot of first time parents, like I'm 38, so I was 34 when I had our first one, and we'd lived the life, like, you know, we were we'd been traveling like once, twice a year overseas, and the band had toured, and we had money, like we'd go shopping, like we used to just, like, I love shopping centres, and we used to just go to Chadstone and buy shit, you know? And it was like a retail therapy or whatever. And and that's all stopped now. And I think for a lot of people that have kids in their sort of late 30s that are from this sort of middle class background, I think it's a big slap in the face, because all of a sudden all this stuff's taken away from you, and I think to a degree, like, you actually are, there's a mourning period of losing your previous life, especially if your baby's not sleeping well, because you're going through this, like, it's really hard. Like, sleep deprivation is just the worst. And so going through that, but then since we've had the second, it's been so much easier.
So you've gone around with it before, like, it's
we know now, we just we know what to expect, and it's changed things.
I also think, just for you personally though, like, coming from like playing in bands and touring and stuff, like that shift would have been even bigger than for someone that wasn't in that world of music, and you know what I mean, like, you were probably back to, like, you know, a month full of show, I don't know, you know, touring, like having, you know, like, do you think on that? Because I think definitely, even just for the normal person, it's a shift, but especially I'm sure for you, coming from, like, not to say you can't tour and stuff now, but it's such, like, not probably to the extent of what you were.
No, I don't. I think about that. I don't know what a tour would look like. If I was to do a solo thing, and if the album reached into, say, Europe or whatever, and there was interest in me touring, I suppose I could do something, but I feel like I would have to bring the family with me, and then sort of leave them in a town, and then I would go and play like 2 or 3 shows and then come back and do it that way, sort of a hybrid holiday. But yeah, the idea of a tour now with a band where I was away for a certain period of time that wouldn't be like, you know, financially, you know, wouldn't contribute to like the household income. Like it's probably like, it's all, I'm not going to say impossible, but it wouldn't be like really, it wouldn't be viable at this point in time. But I'm cool with that. Like, I like touring, but like, it's all right. I'll live.
And how do you sort of look back at sort of like what Constant Mongrels is, you know, become, and sort of people talk about now? Like, just even being like, I'm obviously a bit younger, so I don't know what it's probably like, you know, maybe 10 years ago or 15, you know, I know you guys started in like 2009, but like when you started, like I'm getting sort of the not back end, like you guys are still touring stuff, but seeing what it is now and people talking about it, and sort of being at Jerkfest and seeing you guys play for the first time, that was like for what, a couple at least?
Yeah, well,
but like how
3 years, 4 years,
so like how's that sort of, and I'm sure you get a lot of international like people talking about, I don't know, just that whole world of what you started with. Was it Hugh?
Hugh. It's crazy. We started that band. It was 2009. We were just mucking around mainly. Hugh was learning how to play drums, and we were listening to a lot of garagey, punky stuff, and we kind of wanted to make like stupid 2-minute songs, and we did it, and we did a few interviews and ruffled some feathers, and with some people in the experimental music world. And we kind of put ourselves on the map, but probably for the wrong reasons, because we maybe didn't have the music to back it up at that stage. But we were just doing what we were doing, and there was a sense of urgency to it. We just really wanted to get things done and record and put music out. And then, Amy joined a few years later. She was kicking around the scene because she was in a band called School of Radiant Living, which was an awesome band, with Georgia from UV Race and Harriet, who went on to do Miss Destiny, and a couple of different drummers, Pat and Simon. But anyway, we just asked her to be in the band, and she said yes, like, luckily. And then things started to change. Hugh started to listen to more kind of like darker, like hardcore and punk and stuff. And so it sort of infused into our what we were doing, and then we made our first record, and it's like a really weird it's a really weird record, but it was cool, and people started to take notice, and then we did another one, and then 2013, and then we took quite a long break. In 2018 we released, the end of 2018 we released Living in Excellence. And that sort of initially, I remember talking to Billy. He was kind of like, I don't know why, it's like it's not really selling. like it's not moving.
Like initially when you
and he's like, oh, this, he's like, I just think it's such a great record, and we like released it on a record label called La Vida es un Muse, which is like a really like established hardcore punk label in the UK.
Yeah, right.
And he was kind of the same, but then slowly, like it actually people started to take notice of it, and then then we had interest in a Europe tour, and then things started to happen. And we got asked to play Meredith at the end of 2019, and it was all kind of going on, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh, this is a thing now. I forgot to mention that we added Andrew Murray, guitarist from Perth, who's in a band called Taco Leg, which we did a split tape with them, and had a lot to do with, and then coronavirus happened, and then Andrew moved away, and we just decided to sort of pack up things for a while. That's the history of the band in short.
Crazy. But even just like seeing, I think especially that Living Excellence album, like a lot of those tracks live are just like incredible, like bring a whole different like that was the first time I'd seen you guys play, and that was like, it was insane, like intense, and even that urgency word like you've been mentioning, like the same, even with the saxophone, like there seems to be this like, how's it just like playing with those guys and the reception live, like I think live is just a whole different. It's like a live, I feel like it's like a train that's like lost its brakes. That's a good way to put it.
And you just got to kind of go along with it, and it's exciting. It's sort of turning a train that's lost its brakes into like a roller coaster, maybe that you can get off at the end. And we've found a way to harness that. Like previously live shows were like chaotic for us. Things would always go wrong technically.
Really?
Like we would just disaster. Someone would forget a song, and we'd start playing and then have to start again, and it was just sort of this mess. And then after we released this record and we kind of had to get our shit together to tour and all that sort of stuff, we kind of tightened up, and we were able to control things a bit better. And it's live. It's like it's kind of like a happy place or whatever.
Do you go to something? Do you feel like you go into something different being on stage?
With
like just playing live, if it's Constant Mongrel, like do you think it's different compared to your solo stuff? Like do you go into a different space, or is it like feel pretty much the same for you? Like
it's different. It's different. It's like a like it's not the whole time, but it is. There's sort of like a joy in being part of this machine, if that makes sense. That
you almost have like no control where it
in
a sense too. If it's live, or I'm sure like who's listening or the reception it gets and stuff like that. Like that Jerkfest show was awesome. We were kind of like looking out, like there were like kids at the front, like jumping up and down and crowd surfing and hanging off the rafters and stuff, and we were kind of just laughing to each other. Like I just remember looking at Amy a couple of times and just being like, oh, what the fuck, like, this is so weird, but it's awesome. But it was just we kind of I've heard someone on the radio was talking about it. Someone said they heard someone on Triple R, one of the hosts on Triple R, said, oh, it looked like they really didn't like this the moshing and stuff, and I was like, oh no, it's not. I mean, I didn't. I really didn't mind at all. It was just we were a bit bemused. That's all.
but yeah, it was validating as well to like see that, you know, and like, we released Living in Excellence like kind of on the cusp of like the Spotify boom as well.
That's a good point.
And so I think that there was like a sort of, for a lot of people, like that record is our band to a degree. And so it's sort of gotten out in a different way than
it's a good
than
point.
the other records.
But even like the cover art, like the James cover art, is just like,
it's like brilliant.
Everything to it.
He's like James's visuals. Once we got James on to do visuals, it sort of gave the band a different I think it made people see us in a different light. It changed people's perspectives on us. This like kind of
because we are like visual beings too. When you think of like, I think like album covers and visuals do play a big part for me anyway. Like if I'm listening, like I think I try not to be, but I think because we are obviously so visual as humans, like there is an element. I don't know if you think much of.
Oh yeah, completely. And I mean, there's that thing like Liam Gallagher said or whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter if you make the best music, if your band looks uncool or whatever. I'm not going to give a shit. And for us, like we just we didn't have a bad image or whatever, but it changed things. It's like this oddball, extremely like creative and cool art, like to represent us, for the t-shirts and the record covers and the posters and stuff. People really like it put a face to the sound, I suppose. It's special that we got to work with him.
What do you think it is about Melbourne as a whole, like just being able to produce so many of these bands, like even for myself, just going deeper and deeper into listening, and as I get older, like finding out more bands, and even ones that were from when you guys started, and you think of the whole like vortex. Like I just wonder from your perspective, like because it is such a distinct, like I think of other, like I'm into so many other genres, and it's just not the same here as a part, like that rock punk sort of the whole thing. Like I'm a big like hip hop fan, like it's just not the same, and we don't really have the history and like what do you think it's sort of been the last
I think there was like I think in Melbourne in the 80s, say there was like an explosion and like centered around, you know, Roland S. Howard and all that stuff, the south side and then the north side, you know, like having that tension, but all these kind of really great artists sort of came out of Melbourne and Australia at the time. And then maybe there's a bit of a break in the 90s, and then I think there's when we started, we kind of wanted to be, we didn't want to be disruptors or whatever, but we kind of were a little bit like, why isn't there any like good bands at the moment? And it was around that time, like 2008, 2009. There was Missing Link Records down in the basement on Burke Street. The people that worked there sort of were recommending stuff to us, and like I was kind of moving into this. It was a really healthy scene where everyone was friendly with each other, getting excited about each other's bands, and it's sort of, there was an explosion, but it was only, I mean, when I say it was only 25 people or whatever. You know,
you think of
and
that just had their hands in so much. Like, that 25 was like almost like 200 with the amount that you're doing and being,
exactly. Like everyone was doing a couple of things each, putting on shows together, playing with each other, and we had a general taste that, you know, was shifting and changing according to like each project, but there was an idea of like what we were trying to do. There were certain bands that everyone looked to, you know, like the Clean or whatever.
I noticed that always comes up for a lot, like the Flying Nun records, and how much of an impact that had on. You know, when I'm always I don't know when that anthology was reissued or whatever, but you know, I know that, like, the Twerps and Dick Diver and like School of Radiant Living, and then like UV Race. I'm probably missing some bands, but we all kind of were getting together and meeting each other in the one spot at the one time. It was kind of just like a perfect storm in a way. It was really special, and then we've all just kept it going as well as the other thing. That was maybe a common thread, where it was like we're all kind of very dedicated, and if you look at all the people that are involved, no one's really dropped off. No.
And we've all kept on going,
even with having kids and stuff. All that, like
and we didn't know that of each other at the time, but like, if there's so many other bands and scenes or whatever where people just drop out when they're 30 or whatever, you know, when their life tips over into that responsibilities phase or whatever, it's interesting to see that we've all kept on going. And for a while I've literally been wanting someone or something to happen that isn't us. Like, I wanted a younger group of people to be like, Constant Mongrel shit. Like, or like, not like, who is this old dick like up on the stage like doing this TB Ridge thing, like, this is lame. And I kind of had that the other night with this like this band that played at the Tramway. They were all there with their friends and they played, and it was cool. It was like kind of, I don't know, Cocteau Twins, Kate Bush, that kind of vibe, synthy music, and they played, and them and kind of like all their friends just left, and I was like, cool. I was like, good. Like, I don't expect you to care about me because you're young, and they're younger than me. I don't think they're that young, but I've been waiting for this to happen. You know, for like a shift in the guard. Because I'm like, I'm old, I'm nearly 40, like, when is there going to be like some cool 25-year-olds like doing their thing? And that's not to say that there aren't like good young bands, but like
a lot more coming out, obviously.
But then I don't know if there is going to be an opportunity for that to really thrive, because the internet's sort of, to a degree, I think, like social media and streaming platforms water things down to a degree, to a point where it doesn't, a scene might not be able to exist anymore.
It's interesting to think. Why? Just because it happens so quickly, it's like forgotten about quicker and shit. Like, it can't like boil and like sort of gel together. I don't, just because with you know what I mean. Like, whereas I think physical presence and like location don't really matter anymore. Like, if you want a scene, like, it's like listening to, say, that band, they were called Happy Machine, listening to that band, I was like, they don't need to, like, I mean, I'm sure they do have some friends that, and some Melbourne scene that like they're involved with, but they don't need that anymore. They can just go online and find, like, there's a really great London scene at the moment, you know, that's centered around Dean Blunt or Inga Copeland or whatever, you know, and they can turn on NTS and listen to the coolest shit that's happening right now.
like they don't need to go to the record store. They don't need to go, you know, they don't need to go to shows that much or whatever, you know, except if they're playing, and they don't. Yeah, so it's interesting. So maybe that's why it could be the last of like this explosion, the explosion that happened around that 2009 to 2015, 16 period. It might be the last of that to really ever exist to a degree, because because you don't need other people physically now.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't, that community sort of, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's gonna like kill bands and it's gonna kill like, but yeah, it sort of can be more. You can find your place. You can find your place online so much easier.
Yeah. Like you see it even now, people with any like art form content, all you need is like 100 people to like sign up to your Patreon or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're set, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't,
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
No.
But you know, like you only need, whereas like before you needed that 100 in like your town, which is a lot harder. Whereas now you can get that 100 from worldwide. You know,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or 1,000, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. Maybe it's sort of cutting out. It is to a degree cutting out. Yeah, I think there's a personal aspect that I think is important to a scene, but I don't know if it's affecting the art. You know, the final product. It remains to be seen, I think, to a degree.
Do you think it would be a lot? How do you reckon you guys would like sort of maneuver if you guys are coming out now? Like it'd be so, you know, it'd be. Just think of that. Like
I don't know.
Of like, you know, imagine you started in 2020 as opposed to 2009 or something. You know.
Yeah.
Is that like that's only 11 years? But think of like that's just like.
Oh, it's so much has changed.
Years, like, between that 11 years.
Yeah.
To even now, people got on social media. We went through a pandemic. Like.
Yeah.
4 other social media platforms came on, streaming, like it's fucking like just I don't know if you it's I think I don't even know. I mean, to a degree, like the TP Ridge, I'm kind of you're trying to navigate that now. True. And I'm not good at social media. How do you that's true.
Like I don't have any followers, and I mean, I've got 500 people, which to me is insane. Like 500 people, like I don't know 500 people. Like I mean, I tried to buy, I bought something off Depop recently from this person. It was just like a little necklace for cheap, and she posted it in a envelope, and the envelope ended up being empty when it arrived.
Right.
And I messaged her. She's like, "Oh, can you just message me on Instagram because it's easier."
Yeah.
Because I've got notifications on and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." She gave me her handle, and I like went to it, and it was like I had to request to follow her, and she didn't accept my request.
Yeah, right.
And I messaged her on Depop, and I was like, "What's going on? Like, I've sent you a request so I can send you a message." And she's like, "Oh, that was you, sorry." And then she let me in, and she had 4,000 followers. Yeah. And I was like, I literally wrote to her. I was like, "I'm really sorry, but like, you've got 4,000 followers on a private Instagram. Like, how does this work?" And she was just like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "And you're selective about who follows you." Like, she denied my request. Like, she looked at my profile and was like, "I don't let this freak like follow me." And so I don't know. I just like, and she was like, "Oh no, it's just been my Instagram since I was really young, and I'm selective about who I follow." And I was like, "Who follows me?" And I was like, this is insane. And so it's like a whole nother thing to navigate, and I'm like, I just can't do it, you know. I'm not but I'm like, and she's boring as well, like she posts stuff, and I'm like, because if you've got 4,000 followers, I would expect that there'll be something unique or interesting, but she literally is just like, here's me in the car with my hubby, you know, like we're eating McDonald's or whatever.
That's nothing really.
Yeah.
I feel like you look at most.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm like, so, yeah.
It's like maneuvering through that.
Yeah. So, but maybe me as a 20-year-old or 25-year-old might be able to understand and navigate that world a little bit better.
Yeah, I find it difficult. I can't. I just find it takes so much energy and you don't get much. I just like the product, like the thing being the thing, and you put it out and hopefully people. Because I think for myself, and you'd be the same. Like if you're gonna find the thing that you like, even if it has 1,000 views or 5,000. You know, if you're on YouTube or if you find a movie or album, like you're gonna find the thing. It doesn't need to be like blasted in your face.
No,
but maybe it just takes people maybe 20 years to find it. Sort of thing, I don't know if you.
Yeah. And I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's there is so much good to it, and there's so much bad to it. I don't want to, like, people.
It's easy to harp on it, like.
The thing is that we always have. There's always something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like if it wasn't
it
wasn't social media, it was the internet in general. If it wasn't the internet in general, it was computer games. If it wasn't computer games, it was arcade games. If it wasn't arcade games, it was television. If it wasn't television, it was like, going back to like.
Well, even like you think of the
reading,
first train came. People, when the first train probably got made, people were probably like, "Oh, what is this? Let's go back to
exactly, exactly.
Think of that shit.
I want to feel the ground when I'm rolling. Like
fully.
Yeah, and it's like back in the day, it was, when Jane Austen was writing, it was sort of, you're reading fiction. It's like that's the it's the pastime of the of the idiot or whatever. And it was like and so I don't want to be like too critical of social media or AI or whatever, because I don't really know, and there are so many people in the world and everyone's so different, and everyone literally is coming from a different perspective and feeling, and like trying to criticize or sum people up.
That's a good point, because we like to do that naturally, like box things into one, like it's all bad or it's all good.
And
it's never that. It's never. It's most of the time. It's like, I think like you talk AI and social media. They're like neutral things. The way we come at it or whatever. That's what separates them.
Exactly.
They're actually neutral. Like there's no. And
I mean, me just saying that, like, some people are not going to believe that I would say something so. I'm not like a particularly measured, pragmatic person. Very personal, and have had issues with things and individuals that I've spoken about like over time. But maybe having kids has sort of stepped me back from that to a degree, and made me like a little less judgmental. Which is like another thing that sort of probably will work its way into my songwriting and stuff as well. Stepping out of that judgmental space, and that like to go back to what we were talking about before with like that scene or whatever, like it was like, to a degree, it was kind of like a little bit like there had to be a little bit of like, we're cool, we're better than you, like we're making like good shit, like we're the good ones, like we've come along and we're going to show you, kind of thing. There was like a little bit of like, there was a little bit of confidence to it that made it what it was.
You
to
need
a degree
that,
as well.
I think when you're young, when you have that energy, and especially when it's a collective like that of people, it's like you got some more people backing you, and like behind you, it seemed like that whole and it was sort of like, if you don't get this, then that's your problem. Like it was. But, I think it's just cool for me, like thinking about it now. It's like how many, like now you're getting kids that are like moshing at Joke Fair, and even I like, just people I know that are younger and like finding your bands or other people, 5-10 years later, and like getting really into it. For myself, like I only probably started listening to you guys maybe like, you know, over COVID or whatever, to like and then be able to, that must be pretty trippy to, you know, having
it's awesome,
like different generations.
I love it. Like I really like it. Like it's interesting. I when I was in grade 6, I was the house captain for my school. There were 2 houses, so it was like half the school, and it was a vote. And I never considered myself to be like very popular in my year level or whatever. But I used to take the bus back and forth to a little town like 25 minutes out of Warrnambool where I went to primary school, and there were heaps of little kids on this bus, and they all voted for me. And like I feel like it's the same thing with Constant Mongrel now. And so like my peers didn't vote. Like my peers, like I never really felt like that much in place ever, like, you know, or accepted, you know, like I would always compare myself to say like Dick Diver or the Twerps or UV Race, and I'd be like, oh, why are they so much more popular? Like why, you know, why do so many people come to their shows? Like what's going on? Like why can't we have that? But then like it's just been time, and like you said, like 5-10 years later, it's like all of a sudden this younger crowd has come through, like this group of kids that were on the bus that I didn't realise, that I didn't even notice, that liked me.
On the bus to Geelong to see a Jerk Fest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like it's really cool, and maybe that's the thing. It's like time does sort of like polish things. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and also having a different it's it's a wild way of putting it.
And like you said before, I think it does. People will find the things, you know, that are good. It might just take a little bit longer, that they like. As long as you're making things honestly and with like a sense of urgency and honesty, I think that like you know, it'll find its place to a degree, you know.
Or maybe the world or time just isn't right
for
the thing.
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes.
Like the zeitgeist, you know, when you put something out, I don't know if you think, but maybe if it had been 10 years earlier, or maybe 10 years later, the thing becomes something more, because the world just didn't understand it at the time. I mean, you see that with films and like anything with time, like it's an interesting concept, just in general with anything.
And I think things like do go in cycles. Like I remember Neil Young, reading a thing with Neil Young where he spoke about being popular like every 10 years, and just like being able to do a stadium tour, you know, at the peak, and then the next like 5-6 years later he's playing in theaters, and then he's going back to stadiums. And he's like, there's these young people. I mean, I do remember there was a phase where like you walk into a cafe and Neil Young would be playing like in every cafe. This is probably about 10 years ago, so he's probably due for another round now. But it's like, I think that certain genres do sort of slide in and out of relevance, like the zeitgeist or what's fashionable at the time for young people. And I think that like, I think Constant Mongrel slipped into that zone probably like over the last like 2, 3, 4 years, after we like kind of split up for a bit. It did get into that zone, and then it'll probably slip back out, but that's cool. Like I'm happy, like either way. You know, I do see things shifting and changing, and the cool kids will like something else, you know, pretty soon. They probably already do. Interesting.
So you were saying like when you were younger, like you never felt like placed in a certain...
Did
you feel, was that something for you? Like, I don't know if this is music. I mean, I'm sure music was always like in your life in some way, but yeah, as in terms of school and stuff, like
I was
and
just
like finding your sort of feed and whatever. Yeah,
I was very I grew up in a very religious family.
Yeah, I read that.
So I came out of that, and I didn't do very well at high school, compared to my siblings who all did really, really well and all have like professional jobs and doing like in their work life or whatever. But like I kind of was a bit lost. I couldn't finish a degree. I tried like 3 times, and my music was kind of similar in a way where it was sort of like we were kind of outsiders. When I say we, I sort of mean like Constant Mongrel, Woollen Kits, even like Calamari girls. Like we had friends and stuff, and we had the people that we stuck with in the scene, but we weren't really we were kind of, well, I always felt like an outsider to a degree. And it was beneficial in the end, I think, because I was sort of viewing everything. I knew everything about everyone. I knew all the goss. Like I knew everything. About these people that didn't even know me, or I thought wouldn't have known me. And it gave me, like in retrospect, sort of, I think let me see things a bit differently, and give me perspective on making music that will, I think, maybe put me in good stead down the line. Like I'm not going to stop. Like musicians seem to stop like producing the best stuff around like their mid-30s to 40s. But for me, I'm like, I'm going to keep on pushing and going. But like just in life in general, it was finding my place. And I think like I had a relationship when I was younger, in my early 20s, and this person I was with like was very focused on like getting a career, studying, doing all this sort of stuff. Music was like trivial, kind of like hobby thing to her, and I kind of kept that perspective for quite a while afterwards. I was kind of like, this is all kind of silly and dumb. Like we're all like, I'm just playing music to a few people in a bar, a shitty bar in Melbourne, kind of thing. So I think it changed. So I had to kind of get over that, and then I had to get over the religious thing as well. So it like took quite a long time for me to like settle into accepting who I was, and like my partner helped a lot with that. And I mean, I got to the stage where I was like, I'm going to write that I'm a musician on the birth certificate for our kids, because I was like, I'll just do it. Like, it was kind of funny as well, like, because I'm as far from a professional musician as you could get, but not really, but you know, so I was, it was this sort of I think, like I said before, kind of hiding behind like a sense of irony, and humor, and trivializing things, what I did and what other people did as well, to kind of stop myself from being out there completely. Now I feel like moving into this next phase could be something where
that's beautiful. Nice, man. I was going to say something. What would you sort of, I mean, I know you knew the question was coming, but no, you're talking about like younger self or whatever, but like what would you sort of say to that? or younger, you know, you're saying the young people, sort of younger people getting into the spaces you've been the last, you know, you're pretty much your whole adult life and whatever.
I think like well, I have thought about the question because I listen to your podcast. I was thinking like getting as much input as possible, like, and opening yourself up to different whatever art form you're in, different styles, different genres, like getting like inputting like equals like heavy input equals like heavy output. And like when I say heavy, it means like you're getting yourself out there, and you're like like knowledge is power, I suppose. That's what I mean. And that's what like I would say to anyone that's getting into it. It's just like understanding as much as you possibly can, like reading, listening to music, looking at art, understanding concepts, ideas, like just getting as much in as possible, and not closing yourself off to different styles of music or whatever. I think it's really important. And yeah, so for me, I think that's like not being closed off. I think is really important. And for any artist, and like time, like really things take so much time. Yeah, like they really do, and it's really frustrating sometimes. But it's like it's really frustrating, and like if you don't get anything like out of what you, I mean, if you don't get anything out of what you're doing, like external praise or
yeah, that whole trip of success.
Shit, like it's cliche, but like if you enjoy what you're doing, and that's because you're doing something from what you're receiving, as in other people's work, and understanding and building up that knowledge of the world of creativity in general. If you're creating out of that, then you're creating for yourself, and then that's all that really matters. You just got to do what, like, yeah. This is so cliche, man. Fuck.
But it always is that.
Man.
But it's but you know that shit's cliche for a reason. You know, like what else?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to think like the shit that you see on like the fridge or on the fucking doormat is like legit. You know, like just living simply. Like I think that, you know, like a lot of the time.
Yeah. Sort of, If mama's not happy, ain't nobody happy.
Yeah.
And then also I would go back and tell myself to pay my CityLink tolls, and just stay on top of life admin. I would recommend that for any young person. Yeah. No, that's the big one.
Yeah. I think that's, and day to day sort of now.
Day to day,
like just sort of, I don't know, like what's sort of like drawing you in at the moment? And I know you like working and you know, playing a bit and stuff like that, but anything else sort of been grabbing at you or whatever?
It's just the joy of watching two little people grow up in front of my eyes and being part of that, and like the struggles and the joys. Yeah. That's like and then my work, like I work in the disability sector, and that's something that I've really kind of focused in on, trying to be the best that I can be.
Because you have to give a lot to that too. It can be quite
it's really
you've got to be on, like it can be draining if you don't do it right, or you're like not on top of your own. Do you know what I mean? Like I found that for me, like you can't do that sort of work without feeling like yourself. I don't know, you can get away with it maybe for a bit, but and like that's
that's been a priority of mine recently, taking work seriously, and then just trying to listen to as much music as possible, trying to listen to podcasts. You know, there's so much now where you can listen to interviews, so many different kinds of people. There's mountains available, and I do that, and I do use streaming services, and being able to like explore that now is on my own. I feel like I've got enough I've had enough in the past to understand how things work in terms of music, like from like an organic background. So then using the streaming services kind of is like a cherry on top to a degree. That's nice. I don't know, that's my life at the moment. It's sort of it's really simple, and it's good. And I wouldn't change it, but who knows what's around the corner. We've got like a lot of stuff going on in the world. Anyway, we'll talk about that next time.
I think that's really it, man.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for
having me,
coming on, and just chatting away.
Long time listener, first time interviewee.
I'm glad we did it in the car too. It worked out really well.
That's the best.
So honestly, I might have to.
Do they want to see where
they should actually. That's a good idea.
We're on the T zone of the first hole.
Yeah. Were you ever a sport? I can't stand golf.
No, I can't.
Yeah, I never was a golfer.
Like, I can swing. My dad was actually a really good golfer when he was young, and he tried to teach us, but it was
couldn't get anywhere.
He was bust. Yeah.
Did you want it? I don't know. I didn't actually. I left that, but I know you mentioned like coming from a religious background. Was that? I don't know if you want to touch on that.
It's
I know it came up in a couple of interviews I read, and your dad was like a minister, and you mentioning that you're getting away from maybe that sort of dogmatic sort of, I don't know, and where you at now with that, with religion, spirituality, like high power, I don't know, it's
curious. Interesting. So from my perspective, it was just like a slow fade out when I was sort of in my late teens, to wanting to be. I was, when I was younger, I got caught up in church, and that sort of, it was very like powerful. It was a really powerful thing, and the feelings during worship or whatever that I got. You can't replicate that, I don't think, in secular society. Maybe that's to a degree what I would be looking for in music sometimes. But it was done through music often, singing worship songs, there's something otherworldly about it, and then I sort of started to grow distant from it as my brain developed, and and then I sort of completely sort of got out of it in my early 20s, or even earlier than that, 18, 19. I think it took me a long time though to sort of completely accept that I was agnostic or whatever. I was sort of very loose around it for a while, and then now I think to a degree it has closed me off to other forms of spirituality, because I have a cynicism with anything that's like someone telling you, like, what the idea of someone telling you what to do, or like a group of people telling you what to do or what to think and how to feel, to me, I'm like, oh man, like I've been through this before, even if it's just like meditation or whatever. Like my partner does TM, and it's really, really good for her and stuff. And like, she's like, you need to take the course, like you should do it. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know, like the Maharishi, wasn't he like, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I mean, it's just looking for excuses to not want to be not want to be involved in anything that's like vaguely organized, even if it is not like spiritual or whatever. Because I don't really like school either, so
it's like another layer.
And then the idea of like one person's perspective, like reading a book written by someone on spirituality or things like that. It's like I'm very like, I don't know. But I need to open myself up to it. You know, I think it's pretty important.
Oh, man. For me, it's just been more taking everything from so many different texts and stuff. That's just how I came from it, and I feel like there's always like one person's telling. I don't think like screaming out what's the way to go. I don't think ever is the right way. But I think taking things from everything, even art and like books and religious texts and stuff, because I feel like there's a similarity between all those texts and all those fucking practices and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think maybe to a degree I did get it out of fiction, reading fiction, and like a world perspective sort of came from that to a degree, and movies and television, like people's stories kind of can create a worldview, and like some of the best writers and music as well, like lyrics, poetry, like can sort of actually create a worldview slowly. It's like listening to Van Morrison or whatever, you know, like I've picked up so much via that, you know.
Even like you think of like the Cro-Mags and Bad Brains and like H.R. like finding out what they were, like
exactly.
Just, you know, little things like that.
And
but no, for sure.
And it's I wouldn't close myself off completely. I'd like to be able to have the confidence to be able to do that, but that sort of goes back to that vulnerability and like rawness and like being you know, trying to sort of seek for myself instead of looking at other people and judging and wondering about what they're doing, or more about what I'm doing. You know, it's like Van Morrison's like always like gone on about, like he has this way of like, it's like almost like an Eastern way at looking at Western religion. You know, like because he references God, like, you know, Jesus, God, you know, Christianity, but then has this way of making it feel and sound like, you know, like it's coming from a more spiritual, open perspective or something. So maybe that's something that like I could look into when I'm older or whatever. But at this point in time, like I'm happy just sort of being who I am, where I am.
No, it's I think it's a great way to end it, man.
Cool.
Thanks again.
Thanks so much, Sam.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah, I also love football as well.
Oh, you do?
We can talk about that off there.
Maybe on the next one we'll have to talk.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's some footy shit.
Oh yeah.
Cheers, Tom.
All right, thanks, Sam.